So move. It's
And you guys are live.
that way is it faster.
And you guys are live.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the East Hampton Village Board meeting. Today's date is November 17th, 2023. It's 11 a.m. Could we stand for a pledge?
Allegiance to the flag, the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. So, I don't have any announcements. Can we do roll call?
Mayor Jerry Larson,
Here?
Deputy Mayor Chris Minardi,
Here.
Trustee Sandra Melendez,
Here.
Trustee Carrie Doyle,
Here.
Trustee Sarah Amadon,
Here.
Administrator Marcos Belladrone has an excused absence, Village Attorney Lisa Perillo.
Here.
Here. All right. So we'll jump right in with Hugh King. Good morning, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. There was an article in the East Hampton Star this week about John Howard Payne. And the woman did an outstanding job. She only made one mistake in the whole article. And the mistake was that William Payne was a teacher at Clinton Academy. And she said that so was his wife, John Howard Payne's mother. And in 1784, women were not teaching at Clinton Academy. But Clinton Academy allowed women to go to school there. And this is way, way ahead of its time. Okay? She also mentioned that the song, or the words, "There's no place like home," did not come from the Wizard of Oz. When Dorothy clicks her heels together and goes, "There's no place like home, there's no place like home," that came from the Wizard of Oz book. John Howard Payne wrote those words in 1822, for an operetta. Also, she talks about the song became so popular that when Abraham Lincoln's son died in the White House, Adelina Patti, the great concert singer, was asked to sing Home Sweet Home. And then in 1850 in Washington, D.C., the Swedish Nightingale showed up. Jenny Lind, brought here by P.T. Barnum. After her concert was over, she did her encore. The encore was Home Sweet Home, and John Howard Payne was in the audience. And then the other thing that was mentioned here, in 1873, they put a statue of John Howard Payne in Prospect Park, Brooklyn. There was a huge pedestal, and then on top of it was the head of John Howard Payne. In 1973, 4 men tried to steal it. They broke the pedestal, and they're running down the street with the 300-pound head. Well, naturally, they got caught. By that time, the part of the head was washed away, so the Parks Department put it on Randall's Island, and it stayed there until Averill Geis, the former director of Home Sweet Home Museum, found an article in the Times about all the broken down statues over at the Randall's Island. So to make a long story short, we borrowed that head. We restored it, and it's in Home Sweet Home Museum. So even though John Howard Payne wasn't born in Home Sweet Home, we have his head. That's all I got.
Thanks, Hugh.
He's not going to talk about this, the activities.
All right, next up, we're going to have a board discussion about LaForest Lane becoming a one-way street. I know we have a couple of residents here from LaForest, so we were approached by the residents on that street. It's a very narrow street. It's used as a bypass or a very heavily traveled area to get to the beach and back from the beach. And it's a concern, it's a curvy road, so it's a concern to the residents, safety concern. So we're here to talk about making it a one-way street. The residents on the street would like it to be one-way south. And anybody have any thoughts?
I do. So, I understand the concerns, but let's say someone on Jericho wanted their road one way. Like, can anyone then come and get their road to go one way, or how does that?
Yeah, anybody can approach us and ask us for anything, and then we would have to make a decision on whether
Will that affect the traffic patterns for the other side roads?
That's definitely a concern.
Yeah.
If we make one of them a one-way, the other one is probably going to be used but Jericho is a straighter road. We did do this to Privet Lane, which used to be Crossways. Years ago, we made that a one-way street. Jericho is wider than La Forest, and again, it has no curves, so, you know, you have to treat each case individually based on the circumstances, so it's really something we have to hash out and see how you feel about it. Bill, you have any thoughts?
No,
No?
I don't have any comments at this time. I'll just monitor the board's
Okay.
opinion. Yep.
Anybody else?
I think that, I mean, I understand what Sarah's saying. I think that Privet was a pretty seamless transition, actually, to one-way. And it's true, Jericho, because I walk that, I live across the street, La Forest, rather, I live across the street, I walk it all the time. It does have two blind curves. And unfortunately, it's been a construction zone for the past 5, 8 years, 10 years, 15, and it keeps going. It's like once the houses are all knocked down and rebuilt, then they start all over again, and it's happening again. And so you're going down, and people are flying down there also. They're racing to get to the beach before 9 a.m. with the dogs. And, you know, I see a lot of traffic going down. So it is a scary walk coming back up for either way. But there's, you know, a lot of blind corners and people going really fast. And then you have to go into the street because there's all these construction vehicles. And I know you were there as an ambulance driver this summer with an accident that was there with 2 bikes.
Yeah, 2 electric bikes collided, 2 young kids. Luckily, they were okay. I don't think it had anything to do with the road, actually. It was more of them,
Right.
inexperience or whatever you want to call it, but.
Do we have any history of accidents or, you know, because
No, I don't think there's any, but I don't think you want to wait for it. You know, that's the only, you know, lots of times you'd make changes based on accident data or speeding data or whatever, but, you know, if you see something that's potentially dangerous, we could act on it prior to having to wait.
what's the other street right next to it? Is it Jones? What is-
Jericho.
Jericho? And then what's on the other side?
There's
The
no other
pond. There's
side.
nothing on the other
There
side.
would go
So it
follow
goes
it, yeah.
the washout or whatever you want to call it. Then it goes La Forest. Then after that would be
Jericho,
Jericho. And then after that would be...
Privet.
Really? So what are our thoughts on maybe sending a letter to people on Jericho to ask them what they think? Because that street's going to get more action for cars. I mean, and I mean, I don't go down the street because I have no reason. I don't drive that way. I did when I was growing up, but I don't
I
have.
mean, if everybody's in agreement, we could just, like, if we could put it on for a public hearing and then see what kind of response we get.
Can we hear from the people who live there?
Sure.
Because they've collected all the data, and there's a larger number of people living on the street, you would know.
Yeah, if you don't mind, step up, just announce who you are and.
My name is Alexandra Rousseff. I live at 50 La Forest, and I've been living there since 1960. We used to be the biggest house on the street. We are now one of the smallest. And in the last 15 years, the construction has gone haywire. I've raised 2 small children, and there was no problem teaching them how to ride a bike on the street, but I wouldn't dream of it now. There are a few families with little kids on La Forest, usually summer people, but it doesn't, you know, doesn't preclude anything. I think we're 13 properties, and everyone is unanimously for either the one-way or speed bumps, both to reduce traffic and to reduce the speeding vehicles. I mean, and it's kind of a no-brainer. I think if La Forest were to go south, Jericho could go north, Privet goes south, and it's a natural, you know, and people would get used to driving one way to the beach and one way back, or go, you know, up Appoquog and through town or whatever. But this, between the surfing and the construction, and then the bikers on Saturday mornings in the summer at 7 o'clock, they just go in like this huge pack. They don't stop at stop signs. You know, it's just, it's becoming scary. So That's why we started talking about it. And then we were really lucky that you were driving the ambulance, so you saw what we're talking about.
It's, obviously I was a police officer for a long time in the village, so I know the road is definitely well-traveled, and it's hard to enforce
Yeah.
any type of speeding enforcement, that there's no place to really sit with a police car, so.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, so often the road actually is, because I go to take my dogs to the beach, so often the road is closed, and I have to go up Jericho because there's so much construction and work that they're closing off the road even.
But
because
what happens when the construction ends?
It just restarted again.
That's the same
The
everywhere.
entire field is
That's
about
the
to be
same
developed.
everywhere.
I mean, it's not going to end. We are always the street that everyone takes.
But it makes
It's
sense.
fastest.
I mean,
If everybody's in,
I'm not
everybody's in
opposed to it.
agreement, I'm not
Obviously, I
opposed to it.
was involved in this when you approached us, so I'm not opposed to it, especially since everyone on the street is in favor of it.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem we have is the neighboring streets, and I kind of like your idea, but that would be kind of up to them to
Right.
present us with that, or we could reach out to them.
So
But
there are a lot
by having a
fewer-
public hearing, we could also notify all of those
Yes.
people and have them submit letters or show up at the hearing. So, but it's up to everyone
Jericho
here.
also has many fewer residents than La Forest.
Right.
And
And
they're
it's
not, and
very
they're-
straight road.
There's a little hill, but it's completely straight. It's true. And I think a lot of the people on Jericho don't even live here full-time. In fact, they're hardly ever here in the summer, too. So there's hardly any traffic on Jericho.
Right
So
now.
it's only fair, well, right, it's only fair that they get a little bit more, the overflow.
Chief, you have any thoughts on it?
I mean, I hear what Ben is saying, and
Can you come to the mic?
the effects of the ripple effects of what's going to happen to the rest of the village. Are you going to have more people requesting those type of, I want a one-way street because traffic, we all know traffic is,
Outrageous.
it becomes outrageous, and every year it's getting worse and worse here, so we,
Right.
that's my concern, is you do to one, another street's going to want it, and,
And maybe that's not a bad thing, though, either,
yeah.
you know?
It'll certainly slow people down,
Yeah, it's
That's-
definitely the
that's-
goal.
Yeah, I mean, the 25-mile-an-hour speed limit is hardly ever enforced.
Yeah, even 25 on that road is too fast,
I agree.
but that's the lowest, I believe, by state law we're allowed to go.
Yeah.
So, unless it's school zone. Thanks, Chief.
My name is William DeYoung, and I live at 18 La Forest Lane, and I'm a relative newcomer. By Ali, I've only been there 30 years, but it has dramatically changed in the 30 years that I've been there, and it was already perilous when my daughter was younger to have a lemonade stand, and, I had to really, sort of put a nix on that, because it was just cars were going too fast. And we, it's been a concern of mine for many years, did come to the village in a previous administration, and we got the speed limit lowered the 5 miles an hour, to which we could, only do without state approval. And it had zero impact. The cars just went 5 miles more over the speed limit when they did before. And so it's not just construction traffic, it's the beach traffic, as has been pointed out. It's just people going fast, and during, when you time change, it's even worse because there's less light at the end of the day, so they come earlier. They're speeding, the construction vehicles, the people supporting the construction vehicles, and just it's gotten worse and worse. And I too was at the accident this summer. I was at the end of my driveway and I heard the crash, went to assist the boys, and it wasn't, it wasn't fatal. It could have been much worse. My daughter was a bystander of this too, and
Innocent bystander.
innocent bystander who fainted at the scene and was treated
It was a mess.
by the EMTs, and it was just, they caused it themselves. It wasn't, their speed probably wasn't over the speed limit, but had there been traffic going around, they were right at the blind corner, it would have been obviously much worse. It was fortunate, but it seemed to me that was sort of the the last straw of what, it was really evidence of what could happen. And so the one-way is obviously essential for reducing the traffic, effectively in half. The speed humps, we believe, will be effective in reducing the speed of the traffic. And so if you make it one way, people still, obviously, it may, might even drive faster. So the humps which have been put on Highway Behind the Pond, I think will be very effective. And obviously the other thing is the enforcement of that. And we had discussed that previously, and I've certainly offered our driveway for the police to park, and obviously one of those digital warning signs. I think it's been very effective on Dunmere just in retraining people that cut down there, even when the police aren't there enforcing it. The sign's there, and you worry that the police are down there to enforce it even, a year or more after that sort of electronic warning was put there. And so I think once people get trained to go slower, people just turn on Dunmere and slow down. And so it is, I think, all those steps, and maybe after people get indoctrinated that they can't go that fast, then maybe the humps could come out. I know they're removable on there, and so we'd like to really, before it gets too late,
No, that's very...
change the behavior of people.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else on the board?
I'm for this, but I would like to say is that basing this on the construction, I don't think is the right way to do it. And also, you live by the beach, you get beach traffic. I'll come live on LaForest. You can come live on my street. I'd love it. I know the street well. I know it's dangerous. But now we have speed bumps on 2 streets, and now they're going to want them on Jericho now, and then they're going to want them everywhere. So I think as a board, we've got to be careful with this, because everyone's going to want speed bumps on their street, and everyone's going to be able to get every single resident on the street to say yes, because everyone's going to want it. Now we're going to have one way this way, one way that way. It's going to look like Manhattan behind Georgia, because why wouldn't you want this? So again, I think this is the right thing to do. Safety comes first, but we have to be careful with this, because everyone's going to want it, and it's not, I don't think it's necessary everywhere.
Well, I would agree with both your points, but that's for us to decide when people bring it forward. So,
Case by case, you mean?
yeah, exactly. So do we want to move this to a public hearing?
Yes, definitely.
Yes.
Yes.
Everybody? Okay. All right, so we're going to move it to a public hearing, and then we'll see what happens at the hearing. Thank you very much for coming in and taking the time. I know it's a lot of work, so thank you. All right, next up, we're going to jump into the public hearings.
Okay. Granting of sanitary easement to East Hampton Square Associates by the Village of East Hampton for property located at 4147 Main Street and 5668 Park Place over property located within the Rudishan parking lot.
Is there anyone who would like to be heard on this? Board members?
I think this is great. This is just to upgrade their septic.
Yeah,
And so
they have-
this is a home run, in my opinion. We've done it once last winter with another building, so I'm
Same
very
landlord,
much-
actually.
Very much in favor of this.
Yeah, it's really, his renovation looks like it's going to be top-notch. Billy, you want to say anything about it? Or?
Yeah, this is Rudishan parking lot. As everyone knows, there's quite a few buildings there that have their sanitary systems in the parking lot or portions of the system. This is one of those cases, and in the past, when they've upgraded their septic system, the county requires, and it's a good policy generally, just to have in place an easement. So this just effectuates the agreement that's already been existing, only it upgrades the system to a new innovative alternative system, which is beneficial for everybody. So.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right. So can I get a motion to close the hearing?
So moved.
Second.
All right, the hearing is closed. Next hearing?
Introductory number 11, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 192, moratorium on tennis court and pickleball court conversions with an extension of 6 months.
Anyone like to be heard? Billy? Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Jerry. Nice to see everybody. Good morning. Nice to see you the other night in the city.
Yeah, that was,
You know,
was fun.
I've been in the city this week working, and I dragged myself out of bed because I figured you guys would miss me if I weren't here. Anyway, we don't have a problem. Further discussion, right? You know how we feel, so that's all I have to say on that issue. You want me to bring up the other issues or wait?
No, this is just on this hearing, so
Okay.
if you're okay.
Good.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Billy?
Good morning, members of the board. Billy Hajak. So this is just another 6-month extension. The board had adopted or enacted a moratorium for 6 months. Additional time is required to engage a sound expert and produce some analysis for helping us shape regulations for the conversion of tennis courts to pickleball courts. So
Okay.
this just gives another 6 months.
That's great. Yeah, I know you were trying, but you couldn't get anything in
Yeah, it was
place.
hard to find a specialist who is, one, who was interested in doing the work, two, who didn't have a conflict, and
Yeah, I mean, this will help us make the law, whatever the setbacks are, whatever the sound requirements are.
quite the specialty, being
Yeah.
a sound expert.
So that's great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? All right, can I get a motion to close?
Well, before, Tom, has there been any issues with the building department on this? Like upset people or?
No, there really hasn't been
Okay.
much action, pickleball court-wise.
And has there
Just
been any
generally.
violations or any problems with illegal conversions?
Not that we're aware of. You know, as the legislation was coming down the pike, people, went ahead and put courts in, just at the last minute. There were a couple that just got in prior to the deadline, but there really hasn't been anything much at all.
Good. Okay.
Anyone else? Motion to close.
Motion to close?
So moved.
Okay, hearing is closed.
Introductory number 12, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 35, Officers and Employees, Article 1, Residency Requirement.
Anyone want to be heard on this? The purpose behind this law is to try to hire local people first before we go outside of East Hampton. Try to keep young people employed. So that's the purpose of this, and it all runs in connection with civil service rules and regs. So that's what this is. Anybody?
It's village and town?
It's village first, then town. So our first choice would be a village resident. If there's no village resident, which lots of time that's the case because people don't live in the village, as far as, young people or people on police lists or any list that civil service puts out. But if there is, they would have first opportunity, and then it would go to town residents, and then if nobody out of that pool, then we would go outside of East Hampton Town. And East Hampton Town includes Montauk all the way to Sag Harbor, so, and Wayne-Scott. All right, motion to close?
Motion to close.
Second.
Okay, that one's closed. Next?
Introductory number 13, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 68, Animals, Article 1, Dog Control.
Anybody?
Is this the leash law?
Yeah, this was the leash.
It's actually, it's a leash law, and it's to clean up after your dog on public property, other than the beach, because the beach already has its own law. So we really didn't have anything in place that required people who are walking their dog on Main Street to clean up after their dog. So this would require, if you're walking your dog on public property, you would have to clean up any messes the dog makes. I think it's common sense, right? So,
Motion to close?
So moved.
okay, that's closed. All right, now we'll do public comment on any issue.
Okay, couple things. For the Village Foundation with Phase 1 of the park, what is that for, the 63,000?
Marcos.
Resolution 90 and
Yeah.
91.
Yes, sir.
Marcos on?
I'm here. I'm President Lorraine. Please change that from present to Lorraine. Can you hear me? Sorry.
Yes.
Put on the record that he
I just
doesn't.
want to make sure that you put me on the record that I'm here. All right.
Yeah.
The $63,000 is the the five, I believe, street lights that were placed there that took a long time to kind of come in into stock. And that was I think the five that were installed along the sidewalk right next to the tennis courts.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you, Marcos. I'm sorry.
It's the five street lights that were installed. Those five
You
lamps that
replaced
came
them
in.
already, right?
Next to the tennis courts, you said.
Yeah, they're along the path, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep.
All right, great. The other thing, Resolution 94. We're a little concerned because that's where we have an easement going into our homes. And, I've already talked to the surveyor, and they think that part of your land is sort of in the middle of our easement, and the other part is owned by the LVIS. And I know the LVIS has been asking to buy the garages. So are you going to do an appraisal with the thought of selling the garages and that strip of land to LVIS?
Not at all. Mr. Bebon, that appraisal was done by me. That was just basically anytime we start speaking about public property and any wish that people would like, I'd like to get an appraisal on it and just to see what it looks like and just to get more data. That's it.
All right, so, I don't understand why you're doing appraisal. But
because
so
we
you
know
have no
nothing.
other plans, you just decided
I'd
to
like
do
to see,
appraisal on that
I want to
one?
get an appraisal and I want to get the deed for the property. I want to understand more about that piece of property before I speak to Russell Cradleville.
Okay, so, and I bring it up, why we're concerned is this whole issue we have with you guys, which everybody knows, and by the way, it's not over because we're appealing. We're going to go to Brooklyn, but, and I hate spending the money, but we're concerned because, as you may remember, I called you 7-8 months ago about the lights. And by the way, the lights have not been adjusted. They've actually gotten worse because the lights for the tennis court that are facing my property along the parking lot light up my whole property now. And they're new lights, not dealing with the old ones. These are new. And I've asked several times and nothing's been done. So we would like an update on, are you guys going to do anything to help
You
my
got
house?
it. Mr. Bebon, you have asked, and the village has been looking into it. And as a matter of fact, Jody, can you put that on the screen? Dave, are you around there?
Well, wait, can we wait a second? Let Mr. Bebon finish and then.
Sure.
Then we'll rebut whatever. Is there anything else?
Okay, so to go back to the garages, right? We don't understand why you would even sell the land. We don't think there's any value unless you sold it to LVIS. And I know that they've been requesting to buy those garages. So I don't really think it's a good explanation what I just heard about. We just decided to do an appraisal. It costs money. Why spend money if you don't have an idea what you want to do? And when we called you 7 months ago, I called about the lights. I left a message for you. Marcos called me back. And we met the next day, but Marcos said to me, it was a good thing it's nice here calling about the lights. And, we wanted to talk to you anyway about moving your driveway. And, we didn't know anything about it. We have an easement there that's insured by the title company, and it's in perpetuity, right? And coming in the other side, we think is dangerous, and there's no curb cut. So we're concerned if there are any other plans of why you're doing appraisal. And I want to.
Well, what I can tell you is that the village administrator works on a lot of different projects.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever he's working on, he has not brought the board up to speed yet. So I'm sure when and if that becomes something he's going to bring to us, then he'll bring it to us, and then we'll bring it to the public. But right now, I don't think according to the village administrator, there's nothing in the works.
Nothing.
Okay, well, he did bring it up to me 7 months ago. Right. So, Marcos, you're obviously thinking about it.
Mr. Bebon, to clarify what I brought up to you, because what often is the case is that you like to twist things, and I'll say this publicly.
That's not fair.
It is true, Mr. Bevon, and what I said to you is that your own neighbor was talking about moving the driveway, and I knew nothing about it and how to do it. So that was just a conversation, well beyond, well before your lawsuits that you've now lost twice to the village. So, I got to tell you,
Never got in front of a
this
judge
is not what I said. So I'm looking into things all the time, and I like to have data when I make decisions and bring it in front of the board. That's all I'm doing.
Okay, are you thinking about bringing in front of the board to put a sidewalk on my driveway?
We're not going to talk about what he's thinking.
Well, okay.
I'm thinking a lot of things.
Let's just
All right,
make a
Jerry,
point.
I'm having a conversation. I'm trying to be nice.
Just make, I
Okay.
understand
3
that.
minutes?
But let's just make your points.
All right. I didn't twist anything. And by the way, my neighbor does not want the driveway moved because his master bedroom is right where you guys suggested to move the driveway. And he doesn't want light shining into his master bedroom, and I don't blame him, right? And so, look, I'm conveying how we feel. I know what you said to me. I'm not trying to twist anything. I know what you said to me. And I know I have an easement there. Now, the surveyor I talked to yesterday, and I'm just trying to give you guys information, okay? The surveyor told me, and he's going to go plot it, but he thinks that your land does not cover the entire easement of our driveway. He thinks it's sort of down the middle, okay? So that means that part of it's owned by the LVIS and part of it by you guys, right? And then we have an easement. So I don't know how, if you are considering what was said to me 7 months ago, okay?
I think we should just get all the information.
Well, that's what I'm giving you. I'm trying to share information.
You're saying he may, he thinks, he this. I mean,
Well, he
let's
told-
get the documents.
Okay.
Right.
All right, I'm just telling you what I know, is that, if you guys decided to get rid of my driveway, I would go to the title company, and I would say, you insured my easement, my access to my home, and they would have to defend me, and they would have to sue you, and it would be, we got enough problems together, right, with the park. I don't want another problem. We don't want our driveway moved, and if you're going to sell that strip of land to LVIS, we don't have a problem with that. Trying to convey that, okay? And if that's your intention, then we're okay. If your intention, Marcos, is to do anything else, I'm telling you, we could have a problem.
Okay.
Mr.
Okay.
Bevon, you're
And I
making a
think
mountain
we need
out of
to
a
know that
molehill.
before
You're
you-
making
No,
a
that's
mountain out of a
fair,
molehill.
but anything we're going to do, Mr. Bebon, as you know, will be here in
Right.
public. Before anything is done, before anything is even considered, it'll be discussed in public, as everything we do.
Okay. All right, so you don't know about, you personally don't know about anything Marcos is thinking about for that, my driveway.
I do not know what Marcos is thinking about. No,
My driveway.
no, I do not.
Okay, good. Just
I
want to be clear.
I would like to be on the record to say that the mayor does not know as well what I am thinking right now.
Well, Marcus, you talk to him every day, so I think he probably does know.
I could
more.
assume what you're thinking
I
right now.
do talk to him every day, and many times I believe
know
he
what you
reads
were
my
thinking
thoughts.
7 months ago. So anyway, that's it.
All right.
Nice
That's
to
fair.
see everybody,
That's fair.
and I'm not trying to be adversarial.
No, you're actually very, very good today.
We're just concerned.
I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And, we think you should sell the garage to LVAS.
Yeah, I don't know what we're going
They
to do.
use it, and
We lease it to them right now, and they have it's been leased to them for many, many years.
right.
So I don't know. When we get all the information, we'll
Right.
talk about it.
Look, my neighbor and I would actually like to, and we would donate the money to make it look nicer. Maybe like a barn type thing or something, because we pass it every day driving into our homes. So, anyway, have a great day.
Thank you very much. Happy Thanksgiving to you.
Thanks, you too.
Oh, yeah. Dave, could you just respond to Mr. Bebon's concerns about the lighting?
And okay,
There'll be no rebuttal.
we've been into this.
You already know how it
Mr. Bevon brought it
board. David
Thank you.
Collins.
And here's Dave's assessment.
You got to just speak into the microphone. I can't even hear you.
I was here. Sorry. Any better? LTV, do we have a diagram or an image that was provided this morning?
I do not have one. Give me one moment, please. Let me see if I can find it.
So while we're doing that, just historically, I'd just like to say that, at least since I've been in the department, we haven't received any significant complaints about the lighting prior to the construction, the renovation of the park, other than bulb outages, timer being out of whack due to daylight savings time, that type of thing. No serious concerns prior to this as to lighting affecting neighbors or anything else. With the renovation of the tennis courts, we have removed the existing lighting, which consisted of 9 flood lamps, 1,000 watts each. With
Is this the diagram you're looking for?
That's it.
Can you blow
can
that
we get
up,
that on
like
the
full
full screen
full
there?
screen?
So the existing tennis court lighting consisted of 9 lamps, 1,000 watts each, with an estimated Kelvin of 5,000. So that's 9,000 watts. And I'm basing my estimates on wattage, bulb wattage. We also removed 2 lamps of 1,500 watts, 5,000 Kelvin, on the west side of the tennis court, right against it, that were facing directly west towards the basketball courts. And then on the north side of the tennis court, we removed 4 1,500 watt, 5,000 Kelvin sports lights for the sports fields. The basically covered portion of the football field and the softball field. So the total wattage removed was 18,000 watts. The new lighting, which consists of 12 450 watt, 3,000 Kelvin lighting lamps, equaling 5,400 watts. So basically, if you look at what we removed from the park overall and then what we added, we've reduced lighting in the park by 12,600 watts. And of that, directly facing west towards the basketball courts and Mr. Bebon's property would be about 9,000 watts of lighting removed directly facing west. So the image there, the image on the bottom, that's the new tennis court, and the top image, I'm sorry, yes, and the top image is the old existing. So it shows the 3 poles with the 3 lights each in blue, and in red depicted the 6 lamps facing directly west. And then the bottom is a representation of the lighting, the existing lighting. So basically, we have reduced the lighting in the park. The poles that the tennis court lights are on now are shorter. And the original poles I estimated at 45 feet, which are what the other poles are in the park that sports lighting's on now. The newer poles are, I believe, 30s. And the other thing significant is that the tennis court lighting is now on a timer. So the tennis court lighting always used to be on with the sports lighting, so on until 10:30, 11 o'clock, as per the request of the police department for safety issues. So we're actually, after 9 o'clock, we're reducing the park lighting further by another 5,400 watts because we're shutting the tennis court lights off. So we have made significant changes in the park lighting, and I think that's basically the end of my report for you.
Great.
Okay.
Thank you.
Here, I know you didn't want me to respond, but can I just show you with the diagram what is sort of affecting our property?
Sure.
Can you put that back up?
Could you put that back up?
Okay. These two lights here, because I assume this is the parking lot, I think, right?
Correct.
These two lights are, maybe it's the angle, but they're lighting up my whole driveway. And I just spent $20,000-$30,000 trimming trees, putting in those crypto trees because they get big and they're full. But they take a long time to grow, okay? And they really haven't helped with the lighting. Maybe in 5 or 10 years they will when they get larger. But I'm trying to do things on my side to help the situation. And if I could get a copy of your report, that would be great, right? So I can look at it. Once again, I'm just saying, like, look, they're lighting up my driveway, the other ones are shining in my house. But we called many times over 17 years about the lights. And unfortunately, the last administration didn't really help either. So it's not all you. They didn't help either. And, we lived there. I understand listening to you, the watch or whatever will reduce and stuff. But I could just tell you that if you come to my house at night, and you're welcome to come, and you're welcome to come sit in my den and see the light shining in from the ball field, I'm happy to have you over. I'll give you a glass of wine.
I did that once.
I serve good wine.
Yeah, so did I.
Didn't help, though.
For a guy that has had a drink in 28 years.
Not doing that again.
But anyway, you're welcome to come and you can see how it's lighting it up, right? I'm happy to have you over.
All right, we got to wrap up.
Yeah, so that's, the lighting, I listened to you, it's still a problem.
Just talking to
and I don't know why, and maybe you need to come and look. And we could work together to fix it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Anybody else would like, please? Good morning.
Hi, Gloria. It's been a crazy summer. It's good to be back. Gloria Frazee, East Hampton Village. Actually, I had Herrick Park and the lighting as one of my my points that I wanted to bring up today. We actually discussed the sports lighting about a year ago because I live on Sherrill and it's killing the night sky all the way on Sherrill. And so I asked about, well, how come it's on so late at night? And I was told, well, it's for safety reasons. We don't have another way of doing it right now and whatever. So I said, okay, whatever. It's but now that there's this beautiful renovation going on, that's going to make the park so much more useful to the community. And we are looking at this. I think this is the time to really consider the lighting, especially since you're looking at putting in a butterfly garden. The lighting affects a lot of insects, and if you have this night sky lit up all the time, it's really going to negatively impact any beneficial insects that we have. So I'm glad the poles are lower, but really, what are we looking at for the fixtures? I'd actually sent Mr. Ballandrone state-of-the-art sports lighting information. When you have really great sports lighting, you're lighting the field, you're not lighting the sky, you're not lighting beyond it. If you're talking about safety, you don't need that same type of lighting. You need a much lower lighting so that people can see, the height and the requirements are very, very different. So different fixtures, different heights, this all would need to be looked at in order to eliminate some of these issues that are impacting our town or village, and what we see as really important for a quality of life throughout the community. And speaking of the butterfly garden, I was wondering if you've thought of any, it's just so cool. It's so educational, so important. Full disclosure, I'm on the board of Rewild Long Island, and we've installed a pollinator garden at the East Hampton High School this past year, and working with the high school students. And I'm wondering if you've thought of any education partners to work on that butterfly garden. For example, the middle school students, what a great opportunity for them to be involved with this, to have a sense of ownership. So in addition to Rewild, who else is working here? Change Hampton has put in the garden at Town Hall. So it's really, how can we make this even more of a win-win when it comes to our community and community involvement? Which also brings me to maintenance. How is this all going to be maintained? If we've got the Rewild and the summer program with the high school students where they're actually doing, the East Hampton High School students did about 400 hours of community service locally this summer. So I'm sure that's something that they'd love to participate in too. So there are lots and lots of resources that would be great to work together with.
That's a lot of good points there. Appreciate that. When we looked at the phase one of the park, we did look at changing the lighting, but it was so expensive that we put it to the side for now. But we will look at it moving forward as we raise more money and we put together the next plan or the next phase, and I'd love to have you on the committee because you seem like you have such great ideas. So once we put that together, and then we'll move forward, but first we need to raise money. That's where.
Not me in the committee?
You're chairing it.
Can I change the subject?
Yeah.
Mayor, I believe the pricing for the new lighting came in at just under $2 million. We looked at it. Dave Collins was part of the Herrick Park committee at the time as well, and we looked at it during our term as well. It was just extremely expensive to get it all done.
Yeah. So, all good points. Thank you for that. Let's move into, are we done with public comment? Anybody from the board? Anything? All righty. Let's move into resolutions.
Resolution number 79, 2023, approve claim vouchers for the month of October.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 80, approve warrants as listed, General Fund number 17, 18, 20, and 21, guarantees number 16, LoSAP number 19, and Capital Fund number 22.
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 81, approve budget transfer schedule 3, reference number 2, dated November 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 82, approve minutes for meetings held on August 18th, September 15th, and October 5th of 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 83, approve departmental reports.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 84, approve transfer of $3 million from the undesignated fund balance to the assigned fund balance.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 85, approve $2,103,928 payment constituting the village's retirement system contribution for the fiscal year 2023 to 2024.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 86, approve the 5-year AED management agreement with the East Hampton Healthcare Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 87, approve the side letter agreement with the East Hampton Healthcare Foundation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 88, accept the East Hampton Village Foundation donation of $63,410 for Herrick Park renovation project.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 89, approve change order number 14 for Herrick Park renovation project from Land Tech in the amount of $26,355.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 90, approve the 3-year sanitary system maintenance agreement with Wastewater Works Incorporated in the amount of $1,335 for the Dominique Shops at 73 North Main Street.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 91, approve $16,400 quote from Whitmore's Landscaping Incorporated.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Passed and carried.
Number 92, approve $3,000 quote from Lawrence Indemine Consulting Corporation.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 93, approve $19,850 quote from AKRF for environmental planning and engineering consultation.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 94, approve $12,935 quote from Suffolk County Brake Service for one buyer's snowplow.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 95, approve request to enter into paving agreement with the Suffolk County Water Authority, receiving payment of $101,329 for the restoration by our contractor for the remaining portion of Cross Highway.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 96, approve $14,936 quote from South Fork Asphalt for drainage installation at 15 Hither Lane.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 97, approve $22,496.95 quote from South Fork Asphalt for permanent pavement patches at the Emergency Services Building parking lot and Main Beach Pavilion.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 98, approve $23,006.38 proposal from New York State Volunteer Firefighter Cancer Benefit Program to renew coverage for our dedicated volunteer firefighters for a policy of 1 year.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 99, deem surplus 8 Life Pack 500 AEDs to be traded in towards the purchase of 9 new AEDs.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 100, approve promotion of Darren Downs to Labor Crew Leader, Step 1, at an annual salary of $84,111, effective December 1st, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 101, approve the enrollment of 2 police officers to attend the DCJS Supervisory Liability Training Course being held December 20th at the Mohawk Valley Police Academy in Utica, New York, with no cost to attend.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 102, approve the $44,020 quote from Island Tech Services for 10 automobile computers for the police department per New York State contract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 103, approve the $24,120 quote from Island Tech Services for software and accessories for the police department per New York State contract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 104, approve the $31,868.30 quote from Digital Ally for software for the police department per New York State contract.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 105, approve Teresa Bertha's termination from the Department of Emergency Medical Service, EMS, effective November 13th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 106, approve employment of Tiana Middleton, David Mangiamelli, and Julissa Vega as hourly employees with the village's EMTB program at the hourly rate of $28, effective immediately, pending completion of background check.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 107, accept resignation of Kathleen Lynch as a per diem EMTB employee with the village, effective October 28th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 108, approve Samantha Hutchins' termination as a per diem EMTB employee with the Village of East Hampton, effective April 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 109, approve the following new volunteer members of the Department of Emergency Medical Service, EMS, effective retroactively to November 1st, 2023. Pamela Sandoval, driver attendant, Joseph O'Connell, driver attendant, and Charlie Barter, driver attendant.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 110, notice to bidders for the front lobby renovation of the Emergency Services Building at 1 Cedar Street with the bid specs available on November 17th, and the bid opening to be held on December 5th at 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 111, notice to bidders for new roof installation at Home Sweet Home Museum at 14 James Lane with bid specs available on November 17th, and the bid opening to be held on December 5th at 2 p.m. Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 112, notice to bidders for the purchase of public use outdoor ADA compliant water fountains with the bid specs available on November 17th and the bid opening to be held on December 5th at 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Number 113, notice to bidders for the lease of Sea Spray Cottage Number 1 with bid specs available on November 17th, bid opening to be held December 5th, 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Number 114, notice to bidders for the lease of Sea Spray Cottage Number 14 with the bid specs available on November 17th, the bid opening to be held December 5th, 2 p.m. at Village Hall.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 115, approve granting of sanitary easement to East Hampton Square Associates LLC by the Village of East Hampton for property located at 4147 Main Street and 5668 Park Place over property located within the Rudishan parking lot.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Passed and carried.
Resolution number 116, adopt local law, introductory number 11, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 192, moratorium on tennis court and pickleball court conversions with an extension of 6 months.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution 117, adopt local law, introductory number 12, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 35, officers and employees, Article 1, residency requirement.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried.
Resolution number 118, notice for public hearing to be held on December 15th, 2023 at 11 a.m. LTV Studios in Wainscott for revised introductory number 13, 2023, a proposed local law amending the code of the Village of East Hampton, Chapter 68, Animals, Article 1, Dog Control.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Passed and carried. Thank you, Lorraine. That concludes our meeting for today. If I could get a motion to close.
So moved.
Second.
And we're going to move the meeting for executive session to 1 Cedar Street. If there's anything to report after that, I'll get in touch with the press. All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting's closed. Thank you all for coming.